What we're going to look at in this video is multiplying out brackets. And what that means is having a piece of algebra with brackets in and then getting rid of the brackets so as to write the piece of algebra in a different way. It'll still be the same piece of algebra, but it'll just be written in a way without brackets. So, to begin with, if we take a look at the top example, which is 5 multiplied by everything in the bracket, which is 3 plus x. If we multiply the 5 by the 3, first of all, what we'll get is 5 multiplied by 3, which gives us 15, and also we multiply the 5 by the x, and that gives us plus 5x. And if we look at the bottom example, the same thing holds true. So if we multiply the 7 by the 4, we get 28. We've got to be a little careful though, because this time we're multiplying the 7 by a minus 2x. And that means we have to use our sign rules for multiplying negative and positive numbers. So the 7 times minus 2 is going to give us minus 14. And then the x just sits on its own at the end. So we end up getting minus 14 lots of x. And that's the answer, 28 minus 14x. Now we'll go on to some more complicated examples. What we're going to do now is multiply out a bracket, but also simplify as we go along when we've got a more complicated expression. So if we look at the first example, 3x, well, I'm going to leave that on its own. I'm going to simplify that later on. But I'm then going to multiply out the second bracket. So I'm going to multiply the 2 by the 4, and that gives me a plus 8, and the 2 by the minus x. And again, every time I see a minus attached to a number when I'm doing a multiplication of brackets, I always think of that minus as belonging to whatever follows it. So 2 multiplied by minus x, that's going to give me minus 2x. What I've then got to do is simplify this. Well, that means we're going to collect terms that have the same letters, like terms. 3x and minus 2x, well, they simplify to just give you a single x. And 8, well, there's nothing to simplify 8 with, we just leave it on its own. So in the second example, what we're going to do is the same thing as before. So to start with, we'll leave the 3 alone, and we're going to multiply the bracket out. Now when I multiply this bracket out, what I'm doing is I'm multiplying minus 5 by 2. So again, it's this idea of thinking of the sign as belonging to what follows it. So minus 5 times 2 gives us minus 10. And then minus 5 multiplied by minus 6. Well, the minus 5 times minus 6, that's going to be plus 30 using our multiplication of negative number rules. But then it's actually minus 5 times minus 6x. So we have to put the letter in as well. So it's going to be plus 30x. And then all we have to do is simplify. And in this case, the like terms, the terms with the same letters, are 3 and minus 10. In fact, they don't even have any letters, but that makes them the same sort of thing. So we're going to get 3 minus 10. That's going to give us minus 7. And the 30x, we just add on to the end. Right, in this example, what we're going to do is multiply out 2 brackets and simplify what we get. So really, the idea is just the same. We've just got to be a bit more careful. So to begin with, what I'm going to do is multiply the 3 times the x, and that gives me 3x. Then 3, but again, I've got to take the sign into account. So 3 multiplied by minus 6 is going to give me minus 18. The next thing I'm going to do is multiply the second bracket out, but I'm going to think about the minus sign on this too. So minus 2 multiplied by x is going to give me minus 2x. And then what I'm going to do is multiply the minus 2 by the plus 1, and that gives me a minus 2 at the end. And then all I've got to do is simplify. So I've got to get all the terms that have the same letters together. So first of all, you can see that 3x and minus 2x. So again, thinking about the sign as belonging to whatever follows, it's pretty useful here. So 3x minus 2x gives you a single x. And then we've also got a minus 18 and a minus 2. Well, they're going to give us minus 20. A type of question that often causes difficulty are ones like the one on this page. So you can see you've got 7x minus, and then no number, and then 3 minus 2x. So people are often confused as to what to do, how to multiply the bracket out. And really, it's just the same as the other questions. What you've got to realize is that this time it's 7x minus, not 2 or 3 times whatever the bracket is, it's 7x minus 1 times whatever the bracket is. So we do everything else the same, but just put a little 1 in front of the bracket to let us multiply out. So in this case, 7x stays where it is. The minus 1 is going to multiply the 3, and the minus 1 is going to multiply all of that minus 2x. So minus 1 times 3 is minus 3. Minus 1 times minus 2x is plus 2x. And then finally, as usual, we just simplify. 7x add 2x is 9x. And then we just take away 3.